Helljumpers, Chapter 4, Slipspace.
Dear Twilight Sparkle, as of this moment we have no idea where you are. All we know is that you're really far away, as you and Scootaloo are both missing from the dreamscape. Your friends hope that you're doing well along with Scootaloo. The main reason we are sending this message is if Spike's Fire can send these, so we know if you are still alive. I also want you to know that no one got seriously injured when your spell collapsed. I wish we could be of more help from our position here in Equestria, and the best help I can think of is to just give you permission to use your authority as a princess to its fullest extent to aid you in returning safely to us. I hope that you can return to us soon, my student. We miss you all dearly. Princess Celestia Morningstar, Diararch of Equestria, Guardian of the Sun.
Twilight let out a tear as she finished reading the letter.
I don't even know if I could get us back. There's literally nothing here that gives us a clue as to where home is. We'll find some way to get back, Twilight. We both know that it's gonna take a while, but we'll figure it out at some point.
Scootaloo said as she gave Twilight a quick nuzzle before opening her own scroll.
Hi, Squirt. I'm not really good with all this sappy stuff, but I should be the one to write this letter to my #1 fan. I already miss you, and I hope you can come back soon. I still owe you those flying lessons after all those workouts we've been through. I know you'll be back at some point. With the egghead, you'll figure out a way back in no time. On a side note, Luna told us that your magical signature matches the one of a member of the Hurricane family, so you're related to one of the Pegasi's most fierce warriors. Scootaloo Hurricane. That probably makes you the second most awesome pony that I know. I miss you, Squirt. Get back soon, please. Dash. Awesome!
Scootaloo shouted.
Scootaloo Hurricane, that's so cool!
Most of the humans standing around the two ponies not understanding what had just happened, two scrolls that had just appeared out of nowhere and were apparently from the ponies' homeworld.
That's cool and all, but where the fuck did those two scrolls come from?
Tyler half shouted.
Oh, from Equestria. They were sent using Dragonfire. To send messages with it, the dragon sending the messages has to have a good connection to the creature it wants to send a message to, and most importantly, said creature has to be alive.
Your world has dragons. Actually, why the hell am I surprised? I'm talking to a purple talking pony, Tyler said. I've had enough weird shit happen to me for one day. I'm going to bed. As the group headed off to sleep, a device in Mac's pocket started making a beeping sound. Taking a glance at the device, Mac stopped walking around and tuned in. Our captain wants to have a word with me. I'll be right back. Before walking out of medical up to the bridge. The captain was looking over at the holotable as Mac came in walking and let off a salute. You needed me, sir? Eddie, Sergeant. I just wanted to talk about our guests and some things cleared up, the captain said as he motioned Mac to come over to the holotable. At 1947 hours, we detected 2 slipspace ruptures within the city. Initially, we just thought of them as a system malfunction, but with the arrival of our 2 guests, we theorized that this might be the teleport that they were talking about. The captain pressing a few buttons and bringing up the map of the city. These 2 locations are where we detected the ruptures. These are the locations of your team, and this is the location of the explosion caused by Alpha 4. The captain explained, putting markers onto the map at each location. So, if those 2 ruptures were Twilight and Scootaloo and both of them were attracted to Alpha 4's explosion, Mac then drew a few paths onto the map. Then, we would encounter Scoots at the explosion site and Twilight further up. Correct. So, if we can verify that their teleporting ability is slipspace related, then we can confirm their stories about their teleporting here in a manner Oni will accept, the captain said as he cleared the holotable. I want you and your team to keep finding out information about them. If Miss Twilight is really a princess, having her on our side will help us out massively, if we can make contact with her homeworld. I also suggest writing up a comprehensive report for the spooks of everything you find out before we arrive at Reach. You got them on board this ship, Sergeant. Like it or not, your fates are now linked. Dismissed. Mac nodded as he let out another salute before walking back to medical. Getting back to medical, Mac found that everyone had found one of their temporary bunks and was now asleep. Everyone except Twilight, and she seemed to be twisting and turning in her bed, muttering to herself. Mac walking over to her and sitting down on her bed. Twilight? Twilight immediately jumped at the unexpected voice before calming down at the sight of Mac sitting on her bed.
How how did your meeting with the captain go?
She nervously asked. Twilight, what's wrong? It doesn't take an expert to see something's bothering you. For the first few seconds, she tried to come up with an excuse, only to come up with a blank.
How do you do it?
She asked him. I think of all the things that they have done to us. All the killing, and destruction. I'll do it if by killing them I reduce the chance of my fellow soldiers getting killed. If it wasn't necessary, I would have quit this job a long time ago, but I'm not gonna quit while my brothers in arms are still out there, risking their asses to protect us all. Twilight seemed to think over his explanation before responding with something Mac hadn't expected.
Mac, would it be possible for me to fight?
He was taken aback by the pony that previously hasn't shown any intention to participate in the fighting. Twilight, that's not a decision I can make. If you really want to, we can give you some training, but to fight, you'll have to get approval from Command, and why would you even want to fight in a war that's not even yours? Twilight sighed.
Well, if I do nothing now and the Covenant finds Equus, it would mean that either the planet gets destroyed and everyone dies, or they decide to invade and enslave everyone. I can't let that happen, and humanity, even though heavily outmatched, still has a better chance of defeating the Covenant than anyone on Equus.
Well, I'll talk about it with the captain, but don't expect anything from it because he doesn't have a say in it either. Also, what are we gonna do with Scudolo? I don't even think that she wants to be separated from you.
I know. Even though she'll put up a brave face, I don't think that she'll want to fight. You know, my family actually has a long tradition of being in the military. My uncle served on the frontier with the Griffins, and my brother is the commander of the Royal Guard. My mom was a part of the Special Task Group, or STG, before it was shut down due to research into bioweapons. My dad, not being a fighter, still worked in command, and I can go on with that list. The fact that I didn't pursue a military career actually shocked parts of my family.
Well, if you really want to, then I'll set up some training exercises, but that's the best I can do. You should probably get some sleep if we are gonna train you up to our standards. Twilight laid back down into the bed before looking back over to Mac.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. I'm glad to know that you want to help us out, Mac said as he found a bed of his own. Unbeknownst to Twilight and Mac, a certain orange filly had been listening to the entire conversation and wasn't planning to be left behind.
Like Twilight said, I really don't want to fight, but like Mac said, he also doesn't really want to fight either, and if the Covenant finds Equus, the world we know will just stop existing. Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, Rainbow, everyone I know will be at risk.
Now stuck with this conundrum in her head, she made the same decision as Twilight.
Well, if the Princess of Friendship of all ponies is gonna fight, then I am too.
With that, everyone drifted to sleep knowing what the next day would bring. Twilight's night has been anything but restful as images of the dead elite kept haunting her dreams, keeping her awake just as she finally got comfortable. An extremely annoying beeping sound started coming from a device in Tyler's hand. "Good morning, sunshine!" Tyler shouted into Twilight's ears, who screamed and jumped into the air, letting out a wave of telekinesis against the perpetrator and subsequently everyone else into the room, causing Tyler to fly into the wall onto the other side of the room and everyone else to get pushed out of bed. Twilight now tried to get her breathing under control. "Twilight! What the fuck was that?" Tyler groaned. Twilight realized what she had done immediately and started apologizing.
I'm so sorry. You startled me. Are you okay? I might know some healing spells.
I'm good, Twilight. Just I'm interested in how you just knocked me 6 meters away into a wall, Tyler said as he got back onto his feet, shaking off a little bit of that disorientation.
Yeah, that was pretty freaky scary, Twilight,
Lucy added, getting up from her position off the ground.
That was a telekinetic wave. It's actually the easiest spell a unicorn can perform because it's just releasing a large amount of magic in as short a time as possible. Most unicorns can't create a wave as powerful as the one you just got hit by, but you just made the decision to startle the third most powerful mage of Equestria.
To prove her point, she used her magic to restore the room to its original state, even making the beds to perfection. Not that restoring the room was something difficult at all, but to someone that had no magical knowledge at all, It must be an incredibly impressive sight to see.
I need coffee. Please tell humans have coffee.
She added before walking out of the room.
This crap is going to be happening more often, isn't it?
Zoe said. You mean getting thrown around, or the casual breaking of physics? Mac groaned.
Well, both.
Zoe responded.
Can we get some food too?
Scootaloo asked the humans as if nothing had ever happened.
I do remember that Tyler promised me some beef,
she added with a smirk.
If any of you give her meat, I'll personally kick your flank off this ship,
Twilight shouted from one of the other rooms. Sorry, kid, I'm not angering a pony that can probably just teleport me out of the ship, Tyler told Scootaloo.
Just have to steal this package again, I'm afraid,
he whispered in her ear with a smirk on his face.